Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. Before we get started in today's video, I have a couple of announcements. First, I've been sick for the last 8 or 9 days. I don't think it was COVID, but it was definitely the flu, and as a result, I still have a little stuffiness in my nose and a little bit of congestion in my chest. But I am, for the first time today, able to get out of bed. I went for a bike ride earlier to sort of get things going again, get my muscles working. And so yeah, those of you that know I've been sick, thank you for the emails and the texts. Secondly, Squeakers, my little cat, I woke up a couple of days ago, got out, and on my front porch there she was. Something had mauled her in the middle of the night, I guess. I don't know where she was, but she crawled back to the front steps. I was asleep, so I didn't know, and she doesn't make noise. That's why I called her Squeakers. She didn't have a voice. So she passed away on the steps right outside. They got her, whatever it was, got her pretty good. There's a lot of woods right around here, and apparently something came along and got her. So yeah, that didn't help. It doesn't help. I miss her. So anyway, during the first couple of days of my sickness, I came out for a few minutes here and a few minutes there and did a few things. This is the bike. Clearly I stripped the pedals and the crank set out, which is, you know, real easy to do. You'll see me put the new ones in. It's getting a new set. This was the old style, cheap style that had the individual ball bearings, and it's kind of worn, and you know, this is a very cheap bike when it was built. The frame is good, but the components were not. So I'll be putting in an enclosed casing crank set that goes in with new cranks. I decided that I'm going to do the bike in black matte and red. So I stripped everything down. I installed this bar right here. I removed this flat plate and I welded it in a new position. I modified it and I welded it in a new position so that now my current battery and the battery that I will buy for this, because they're both the same battery, will fit nicely in here, and it will be held in place by a bracket that goes across here to give it some protection. And then I will also be mounting my my control box here and building sort of a cowling that will go from here back behind there, so everything will be nice and hidden and protected. And I'm using steel to do that. Some very lightweight, very thin steel, but it will go around there and protect it. And I'm doing black Raptor Liner on the frame, and the white parts that I've taped off here, and you can't see the one down there. I've taped this off, this center pole, and then the center pole that's down on the front. And I'm going to be using a red carbon fiber wrap for those spots. So here where it's taped, and here, it'll make sense after you see it. So the first thing I had to do was, like I said, strip the bike. I took the chain off. I took everything off. It's getting a new chain. It's getting a new center crank set up, which all that stuff's inexpensive. It's like 50 bucks for the new crank and the new crank arms, the levers, and the pedals. And so while this is going to be red carbon, this is going to be red carbon, and then the front of that same skinnier tube will be red carbon. Also will be red carbon on the forks. These are going to be red carbon here and here. And then all of this is going to be done in black, but this is going to be later. And I also spent the evening yesterday. I was feeling a little better and a little antsy, and I went ahead and I got these new spokes in the mail. I bought these 170 millimeter spokes that were the correct ones. This is the rim that I took off of that $25 bike that I bought from my buddy the scrapper, and I mounted my old motor in the 26-inch wheel. If you remember, my old rim had shattered after 25,000 miles. So now I have a working motor that I know is good, 1,000 watts. It's going to go on the back of this thing. I still have some adjustments to do on the spokes. Takes a little while to tune those and make sure everything's good. But what I'm going to do now is I have sanded this whole frame. I have washed it down. I see a lot of videos that say get some alcohol and a paper towel and wipe it all down and all that crap. Whenever it's small and easy to move like this, I sanded every inch of this thing. And with the Raptor Liner truck bed coating, you only have to scuff it up to give it something to grab to. And this is textured, and it's not shiny. It's a matte black. So I sanded every bit of it, even the bits here under the tape that's going to have the vinyl. The reason I taped that off is I could have just sprayed the frame and then put the vinyl on, but this paint comes out textured. It has a texture to it. So if I sprayed where I want the red carbon fiber to go, then I would be putting vinyl on top of texture, and it would be all lumpy and bumpy, and it just would look like crap. So I taped off where I'm going to be putting the red on the frame, gave it a sanding, which only took, 20-30 minutes. Took it to the garden hose and washed it completely. Then degreased it, then dried it, then taped it off. And so now I know that this thing is ready to accept my Raptor Liner. So what I'm going to do now is move the camera so you can see. I'm going to shake this up, then I'm going to start the camera over there somewhere where you get a better view, hopefully. And I'm going to give you a sped up version of me spraying this thing down, and I'll be back. For those of you that have watched my channel, remember I have a fundraiser going on. If you'd like to support the channel, just look in the pinned comment or in the description of the video and you will see a link. Any dollar will help. I'm trying to raise money to pay for this bike. As you know, these are my only form of transportation, and I don't spend thousands like everybody else. My old bike has 25,000 miles on it. Find me a vehicle that's got that on there for less than $1,000. Anyway, make sure that this stuff is shook up pretty good, 2 or 3 minutes. It's real easy to use. The trick is to stay about a foot away. That's longer than the can from the frame. Go in different angles. Do it in multiple coats. Give it long sweeps. And don't try and fill in every little bit in one coat. Just kind of go over it, move around, then come back, go over it some more, and kind of build on each coat. And this stuff gets hard after 24 hours, and it's beautiful. I have done, this is a motorcycle fender that I've done, and this is even the cheaper crap, not the Raptor Liner, but the cheaper brand. I prefer the Raptor Liner. It's good stuff. So let's get started. Great. What the hell is going on? Huh. It came out clear there for a second. I was like, what the hell, brother? couldn't figure out what was going on. This is also made for touch-ups, so don't be afraid. It's not going to harden in the can or anything like that. The expensive Raptor Liner brand is about $20 a can at the local hardware store. I got this at the auto parts store. It is the 1K version. It is not the 2-part epoxy, but it is also just a bike frame. And because it will not clog the nozzle, it doesn't go bad. It's not the 2-part paint that hardens. You can take your time. Now you'll see that I'm going over this stuff a few times, but I've used this stuff. I've painted an entire vehicle with this. So I know how to build up. And if you miss a spot or 2 or 5, it doesn't much matter, because this stuff is designed to build up on itself. They say that you should do 2 to 3 coats. If you look back on, I built a go-kart with my buddy for his grandkids last Christmas. We painted it with this. Now I can barely feel anything even missing from the can. So 1 can is going to be well more than I'll ever need for this. Use a respirator if it bothers you. This is not why I'm coughing. I'm coughing because I've had the flu for the past week. Now, you will have been done by now as far as your first coat, because you may not be very good at this, but if you stay far enough away, it doesn't run. You're not putting on so much that gravity makes it run. It's not going to smudge itself. The farther back you are, the better the texture is. And I know for a fact that I will have to touch this up again. I'll have to put a second coat on it, which you might probably wait 20 or 30 minutes to do. However, I'm going to leave this thing hang all night. Sorry about the train. I'm going to leave this thing hang all night because it's moist outside, because it's dry in here, and I want this stuff to set if I try to move it too early, I don't want to smudge it with my fingers or touch something dirty. And all I have is a little piece of wire that's going through this little tiny hole that's holding the whole thing. Now it's steel wire, so it's not going to drop. But I want to make sure that everything's good and dry, and then I'm going to pick it up, and tomorrow in the sunlight, I'm going to turn it, and I'm sure that there will be somewhere where I didn't get the right angle on it, and so I can still see original color. Because no matter what you do, it's always going to be that way. So tomorrow will be the final coat, and I'm not in any hurry. I have not even ordered the crank or anything like that yet. Because I'm using my old motor, I'm not even ordering a new one anytime soon. I have to order tires. You know, it's going to be another month. Thank you to those who have made donations. There were 2 people that were kind enough to support me in my PayPal pool, and I appreciate it. And you see exactly where that money's going. I bought this paint today. And there you go. Let's see if I can get you a closer look. Don't know how much you'll be able to see, but it gives it a nice texture. It covers very well. And I stopped the tape here about 1 inch back because of the tight curve. I'm going to run the vinyl up to where it's going to match. It's going to meet the black on both of those. And that is the top rail of the bike. So the seat is up here. That's the top rail. It's going to be red. Then all the rest of this is going to be black. This is going to be red. And this one here, the small one here, is going to be red. And then, of course, the bottoms of the forks, the crank pedals will be red. I'm ordering new crank pedals. And they're going to be red with red and black pedals, actually. But the crank itself is going to be up to date and red. That's going to match the red that I'm putting on. And so we're going to have a nice 2-tone bike, red and black. And put some lights on it and horns, and you'll see the whole thing. So I'm not going to fast forward because it didn't take me long to paint it. I will show it to you after I get the next coat on and get the tape off and we start putting the vinyl wrap on it. So thanks for stopping by. Hit the like button. It's somewhere between my chin and my balls, and we'll see you soon.